welcome to the Business of Baking. I thought I'd try something a little bit different this week and do a video blog or a vlog as opposed to just a normal printed one. And I wanted to address something that comes up a lot for people. And that thing is, people email me all the time and say, hey Michelle, how do I know when it's time to quit my day job and really go for it from a business point of view? A lot of people start out cakes as a hobby or even as a small business from home. They're doing it a couple of days a week and they're really wanting to know, they're almost looking to me for permission, I'd say, to actually then let go and just go for it full time. And a lot of people are afraid of losing that security, and it's completely understandable. When you've got a normal job, you go to the job, you do what's expected of you, hopefully a bit better, and then you get paid when you get paid. And there's sort of very little risk other than obviously businesses go under and that kind of thing. There's very little from a personal point of view that you're risking by having a normal job. So to go out on your own in your own business is a little scary, okay? It's actually a lot scary, really. I think I should be honest about that one. So the people who email me about this stuff are often really what they're saying is, I'm afraid to make that leap. And how do I know? When will there be the sign? And truly for some people, the sign does come. They get made redundant. Sometimes people lose a parent and that makes them reevaluate. So for some people, the sign comes, okay? But for most of us, there is no lightning bolt. There is no huge, you shall now go and run your own business, voice of God or whatever it is. That doesn't really happen. So to answer the question of how do I know if it's time to run my own business, or how do I know if it's time to run it more than I'm currently running it, is a really, really good question. One of the other fears people have at the moment is the industry seems really crowded. I see people go in and out of business all the time. Secretly, cake makers are telling me that they're not actually making a living, and I'm afraid that I won't be able to make a living too. I'm afraid that I won't be able to replace the money I made in my job. And if you're supporting a family, or if you're just supporting yourself and you've got something like a car payment or mortgage payments or whatever, or you just want to eat, really, it can be really scary when you suddenly have to make that choice to leap into something where you don't have the crystal ball. The truth is you don't know if you're going to be successful until you try it. So normally when people send me those kind of emails, I tend to tell them what I tell everybody about this kind of thing is, you will lose 100% of the races you don't run. Now, I follow that philosophy because I'd rather try and lose than not try, because I don't want to live my life with regret, and that's kind of how I do things. But I wanted to give you guys a different perspective on it, maybe a little bit more of a business perspective on it. And that's this. If you are sitting there watching this wondering, yeah, but Michelle, how do I know? How do I know if I should do this? The question I want you to ask yourself is this. Are you willing to risk it all in order to do it? Now, I'm not saying that you will lose it all. I'm not saying that this means you will go broke. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, are you willing to let go of that security in order to give it a go? And that is scary. But if the answer is no, I'm not willing to let it go, then truthfully, I think that's something that you need to go, you know what, maybe this just isn't for me. The thing about being an entrepreneur, the thing about being a business owner is that you are willing to let go of that risk. You are willing to let go of the security and go, it's more important to me to try than it is to not try. I know it sounds kind of basic, doesn't it? Not everyone is built for an entrepreneurial life. They really aren't. Not everyone has the right personality type. And here's the thing about owning your own business. It can be exceptionally feast or famine, particularly in the beginning when you're just starting out. It's either you have a billion orders and you're swimming in money and you're like, woohoo, I so got this thing. Or it's quiet, maybe it's winter, maybe you just haven't got your marketing quite right yet, and you throw open the doors expecting a gajillion orders and there's just crickets. It can be a very feast or famine kind of life, and that's inherently risky. It's inherently uncomfortable because there is no paycheck that is just going to roll on as long as you continue to show up. And here's the other thing I wanted to tell you about making this decision. Your cake skills when making this decision are completely irrelevant. I know that sounds a little bit funny. And no, I'm not saying you can go out there and sell really awful, crappy cake. But what I'm saying is that the skills you have as a cake maker do not translate to your skills as a business owner. They simply don't. Your ability to go to work and do your job doesn't really work as a great indicator of your ability to go out and run that same business if you wanted to. So the same is true in cake. I don't care if you're the best piper that ever lived. The point of the matter is, if you are not able to be willing to risk it all, be willing to let go of that security, and understand that what you are able to do as a cake maker does not translate to your ability to be a business owner, then frankly, I would just keep it as a hobby. And I want to address the fact that people feel a real pressure to be in business, like, I've got to do this thing, it needs to happen, everybody's telling me I'm going to make a fortune, whatever. Ultimately, the only person that makes that decision is you. You've got to sit yourself down and say, am I willing to risk it all for the opportunity to create my own business? You have to be willing to accept that risk. You have to be willing to let go of the security, because no one, not even me, who knows what she's doing, can say to you, you're the one that's going to be successful. You're the one that's going to beat your competition. I can't tell you that. I can't tell you if you're going to make it. I can't tell you if you're going to crash and burn. I would love to be able to answer those emails with, if you just work hard and you market really well, you'll totally be a success. I truly believe that being an entrepreneur is something that happens inside. There are certain personality traits that are suited to it and others that are not. And if you cannot take that risk, well, then that's something you really need to think about. And I think it's one of those things that we often look to other people for, when is the sign going to come? If you're looking for the sign, that's probably telling you something too, that looking for the sign is not really what you want to be doing, okay? So for all of you guys who are sitting there going, I don't know, Michelle, I'm great at cake, I really want to be in business, I don't know, should I not? Or if you are the person who's running it from home, is really loving it, is really loving those couple of days that you're being able to devote to it, but is wondering if you should now make it your full-time job, I really want you to think about that. I really want you to ask yourself that question. Am I willing to risk it all? Am I willing to let go of the security in order to try? And that pretty much gives you the answer that you need to know. Any questions, feel free to send me an email, michelle@thebizofbaking.com. You can always meet me on Facebook as well. It's BizBake on Facebook, and I always love hearing from you guys. Thank you so much for being part of this community, and we'll speak soon. Thanks a lot. Bye.